Hello, this is Mark Torgeson with Interdyne BMI. Today I'd like to introduce Terry Carlton, Channel Manager for Integrity Data, and Terry will be showing us the U-Linc product. Terry, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Mark. Today it's really our privilege to show you our U-Linc product. We've been around the Dynamics community since 1996, but U-Linc is our first product that goes all across Dynamics GP and also Dynamics SL to provide you workflow virtually anytime and anywhere. When people get really considering what workflow is today, there's a lot of confusion on what workflow is, because a lot of organizations don't even think that they have it. But workflow in a business process is anything that you do to complete or fulfill a process that you have today. And in the organizations, a lot of times it's paper that's being passed. It could be in GP that some person does this and some person does that. But it's all workflow process, and the business process is much like even the manufacturing process. The goal is to complete the following task in sequential order and hopefully in a good time frame. But the problem is, in most organizations, things get left. We forget what they are, and we can't find where they're really at. And the problem when we run into our high risk or mission critical areas of business, it is a problem. So today, as you watch this, I would like you to begin to think about what are those greatest areas of risk in your business? What are those high risk and mission critical areas of your business? What is the data ever entered incorrect? What if you find out too late? When this does occur, what kind of actions do you have to take? What's it feel like when you're in the middle of that to be able to make that correction for your business? Because oftentimes you feel just like this. It's like, how could this have happened? Why couldn't somebody have told me what was going on? So now you're running around and you're putting out fires. You're trying to get everything corrected, and it's just crazy, crazy, crazy. Or you come in and you're looking for this piece of paper, this document, or you're wondering who has that piece of pertinent information for this whole process, and your business operations are stopping. But what if you could set up a notification or an approval process on data entry, data changes, or transactions, and thereby catching those incorrect entries immediately or making sure that the process is going completely? Wouldn't that be nice? Well, that's what U-Linc actually is. U-Linc allows you to have approvals and have just workflow processes designed specifically for your organization. Now, Microsoft has 11 workflows out of the box for Dynamics GP. U-Linc basically allows you to modify them or do whatever you're wanting to do in those areas specifically for you, not just in a box. But not only those 11, but a lot more. It's workflow anytime, anywhere, throughout your whole organization, and it's workflow your way. Now, some of the magic around U-Linc is that it sits on these platforms here. You see it has SQL Server, Microsoft Dynamics, and SharePoint Foundation. Now, if you're running Microsoft Dynamics, GP or SL, it's sitting on SQL Server. So you already have that functional in your organization. And SharePoint Foundation 2010 is also available to you free, so there's no extra cost for putting that in. So basically, anything that's sitting on the SQL Server over here, and it may be in addition to Dynamics GP or Dynamics SL, it could be your solution for managing a warehouse or whatever that might be. If it's sitting on SQL, you can identify a trigger and a SQL trigger in there and throw it over the fence to SharePoint and begin to do those workflows that drive straight into Microsoft Dynamics GP. Or you can have a trigger that's defined in SharePoint and allow that to move right into Dynamics GP. So how can you use it? Let me just today go through 3 different scenarios. Now, the first one is a very simple scenario for you. Today I'm going to introduce to you Wilbur and Angie, and Wilbur's the accounting assistant, and his role and task every day is to create, and he creates new general ledger accounts. And when he does this, he just goes and he saves this record. Now, Angie, she's the boss, so she wants to make sure that she receives an email notification anytime that there's an account created along with information. Now, this could be a general ledger, this could be a pay code, or whatever in your organization you're looking at. but this they've identified as something that's mission critical to them. They want to track it, they want to know. So Wilbur, he's just doing his job, and he goes into the financial cards here, clicks the account, finds the one he wants to do, and he just creates the account and saves it. Now, it's pretty simple. Angie just receives a notification from Wilbur that in her inbox that there was a new GL account created. And in this, there's all this information that comes along with it, just straight out of the box. It comes straight to her that there's a following GL account that's been created. Here's the account number, what it does, account category, and the activity that she's required is no further action. Now, if she sees something she doesn't like, she's going to take action. She's going to go over to Wilbur, or she's going to go into GP, and she's going to straighten that out. But the key here is she knows. Now, the U-Linc scenario 2 is about a vendor maintenance approval. A couple of key people here is Jeff and Dan. Jeff is the purchasing assistant, and he wants to recall a vendor maintenance record, and he modifies the record, he saves the record. And when he does this, it's automatically going to kick it into workflow, and there's going to be evidence in the header that we're going to see. And later on, he's going to attempt to modify it. But his boss, Dan, he receives an email notification. He's going to be asked to review this notification and approve the change. Simple workflow. A lot of times, that's exactly like we'd want it in our organization. GP just does not do that for us. So Jeff, he goes in and he modifies a vendor to have special pricing. When he goes into purchasing card in the vendor, he selects Beaumont Construction, and we want to notice that there's no workflow ribbon going on right now. So everything is available. We can do whatever we want on this. Now, to show you kind of the power, the specialness of around U-Linc, we want to take the comment field down here and put in special pricing eligible. Just to show you the power, we can take any field, identify it, and create workflow around it. Now, when he presses the save button, what's going to happen is email is going to go out that there's a vendor special pricing approval. Now, this email actually goes back to Jeff, who created this, and you're going to notice that what happened here, there's got special pricing eligible, what the vendor is, it was changed on by here, and it was now it's being submitted to DeCominos, and for this person, Jeff, there's no further action required. But Jeff's a little gimpy. He's like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. He's going to go back into the vendor card again for Beaumont Construction. He looks and, oh, we've got a workflow running because the task is assigned to another. So he goes back in here. He's like, okay, I have a workflow going, but maybe I want to get rid of it and put it so it does not apply. When he puts that in, because of the workflow that's been defined by the organization there, they get this message that this status is being approved, try later. Now you can modify that to say whatever you want and be as nice as you want or be as tough as you want. It's your call. It's your workflow. You define it. And when he hit the OK on that, it automatically put that special pricing eligible back in. It would not allow that to be changed. So he clicks save and it goes. But on the other side of this equation, Jeff's boss, Dan, is notified that he's got a vendor change going on. So at the same time Jeff got his email, Dan got his email too. And he's got a vendor special pricing approval, and it says it's for Beaumont Construction, just like the other one, special pricing eligible. And notice how it's different. Each person gets what you've described in your workflow, how you want it to be able to go for you. Special pricing eligible, but he can just simply click here, and when he does, then that's going to drive him to this screen. It's just a typical workflow type of screen. He can go to the running task here, not the completed, but the running here, and when he clicks on here, it's going to bring him into the window where he's got all the information that he wants to be able to have. He can write a comment, he can approve it, reject it, cancel it, or reassign the task. For today's demonstration, we want to do an approve. So when he does the approve, Jeff, the person who started all this, is notified that Dan has approved or completed that task with this email that comes in, that no further action is required. So he can just simply go back into that same vendor card, and when he pulls it up, we notice that there's no running workflows. So from start to finish, nice, easy, smooth, according to their process, nothing gets left. Okay. If you wanted to, you could actually define a time limit for Dan to be able to actually approve those. So when there's a notification, this is hanging out, you can make sure that your processes stay running smoothly like you want them to have. Now, our third scenario gets a little tougher, but what I want to show you here is how that we can have internal processes, but we can actually automatically send out emails, notifications to people outside of the organization as well. So Jeff, he's still the purchasing agent after his thing. He didn't get fired, but he's going to go and create a vendor invoice, and he's going to save it and post it. Now Dan, he's going to receive notification that this vendor is missing a tax ID because all of a sudden it bumped up over the number that's preset by you inside of GP or an SL. And so but at the same time, it's also going to grab that vendor ID and the email address that's in there. It's going to send out an email notification to Harlan, who's the CFO of Beaumont Construction, that he needs to provide Dan Komenos with that tax ID. So let's see how it works inside of GP. So Jeffy posts that invoice, and simply by going to the transaction enter screen in his purchasing area, it grabs the voucher number. The amount is $902. It's for Beaumont Construction, and he just does a post. It's part of his business. He does it every day. But when you create a workflow, this is where you think about what you want your business process to be like. And for this here particular instance, it's a matter that an invoice is posted for vendor Beaumont, and if this is greater than 600, the U-Linc does nothing on the workflow. But if it is greater than a year-to-date, then they need to do something around the 1099. Now, so U-Linc looks at it, determines if the tax ID number exists for a vendor. If it does, U-Linc still does nothing because it's all complete. But if it doesn't have a vendor tax ID, then U-Linc sends notification to payables manager and to vendor. Okay, so that's how the workflow actually looks underneath the covers on this. So Dan, because it is greater than that, and they don't have the tax ID, Dan receives an email informing him of this. So when he clicks his email, he sees that it shows clearly that an invoice was posted for Beaumont Construction. Tax ID is required according to their business processes. A message has been sent to the vendor requesting information to be sent. And he's going to be sending that information to him. When he receives it, he needs to just simply click here and enter the tax ID. Well, when that invoice was issued, Harlan Adams of Beaumont Construction, he also received an email into his Outlook. And it told him exactly what he needed to do, because all this information is editable by you. Or your organization, to be able to fit what your needs are, to be able to communicate exactly what you're looking for. Told him that he needed to provide them with a tax ID number and submit that tax ID to Dan Komenos, gave him the email address, and so he simply does that. So Harlan sends it back, Dan receives that email tax ID information, and he comes in here, presses the click here, he selects the provide vendor tax ID, and it takes him right to where he needs to go here. So he just simply, under this, because these are all modified specifically for this workflow, he simply enters the vendor tax ID, hits complete. And so then he goes back in there just to review to make sure that that is in there. So he goes to purchasing cards, selects the vendor, and selects Beaumont Construction, goes to options, and there it is. It's from the outside of GP, it actually got put into GP. So he's all good to go there. Now to sum this up, the reality is that U-Linc is very flexible and easy to use. It's configurable to match your business processes. And we currently have an always expanding library of pre-built templates. There's currently 50 templates, and they're growing. It works across your entire system. It doesn't matter if it's just GP or just SL. It could be any third-party application or solution that's sitting on SQL, if you can define that data element that you want to trigger off of, you can allow it to start your workflow for your organization. And you can create that notification approval across any element in Microsoft SQL. And the nice thing is that U-Linc actually makes that data available for the SharePoint. Basically, it takes it out of SQL and throws it over like the fence to SharePoint workflow. And notifications, we showed you this, can be sent to anyone via email, text, or printable document. Now, a key thing about U-Linc is it actually does improve your organizational performances. Things don't get left. There's efficient communication. It enforces your business rules and processes. And bottom line, it reduces your risk. Now, you don't have to be like this. You don't have to be looking for where things are actually left, and you don't have to be running around and putting out fires. It's a nice feeling. You can kind of just sit back and be like this. It's a whole lot better than that frustrated look and the look that we get when things really go wrong because we aren't managing our processes effectively. The first organization who put this in saw the advantage of this, and Steve's comment was it has given us the ability to quickly and easily implement workflow solutions to our existing infrastructure and has resulted in massive uptick in productivity. It makes it easy. It's quick and easy to implement, and once you get it in, it becomes easy for you to just do more. And we allow you to do more, and the flexibility and the power of U-Linc is just like our fingerprints. We're all different. All organizations, all processes are different. So you need a solution for workflow notification that's going to be able to be easily fit for you, and U-Linc actually does that. So what could U-Linc do for you? It's really up to you, your organization, and how you want to stop those things that cause you to be frustrated, to try the fires that you have to put out, and help you to stop looking for the things. So it's really up to you and your imagination how you want it to do for your organization. Now, very simply, your next steps could be to contact Mark there at Interdyne BMI or myself, Terry Carlton, and here's you could go to u-link.com to find out more information, or simply call me at 888-786-6162. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to contact us. Thank you very much.